Hey, what's going on? You know who it is. You know what it is. All right, man. I saw a great video by Ticket Man where he was, basically talking about LeBron James saying it's no excuses, for whatever happens in the NBA Finals. You there, so you just have to play. You gotta, you know, play the hand you dealt. Now, I'm gonna say this much, man. I stand by this, and I'm gonna keep making videos, man, because the NBA, following, the end of the NBA Finals, no matter who wins, they have a problem that's existed for a while, man, for the last X amount of years, man. They seriously need to change the playoff structure because this East Coast West Coast shit is just fucking ridiculous. You have teams that's on one side of the U.S. versus another side of the U.S. Not necessarily the best teams. You just got, well, this team is playing in New York and then this team is in California. So that's how we determine who plays for a championship. And it's just wrong, and it just shouldn't work like that. Because to be honest with you, the NBA is the only, major sports league that has that system. In Major League Baseball, you could have the Giants versus the A's year to year. You could have, you know, you could have the Cincinnati Reds versus the Cleveland Indians. You could have the New York Mets versus the Yankees. You could have the Chicago Cubs versus the White Sox. And for most part, you get it right. Because usually in baseball, you always get the best teams playing each other. In football, most of the time, you get the best two teams playing in the Super Bowl. You know, this whole East Coast, West Coast shit is just fucking ridiculous. And don't give me that shit about traveling and all that shit, because in baseball, every team travels just as much as the next team. I don't want to hear that shit about traveling and all that shit, because that's lame and this whack is dead. They need to have some kind of system where they have the best 16 teams always in there. We want to get the best 16 teams competing for a championship. And that's something that the NBA need to figure out. What they could do is, I've said this before, what they could do is they could just do seeding by record and record only. Just the best 16 teams, depending on their record, get to go to the playoffs. Now, just in case you have a few teams that had the same exact record, this is how you would seed teams. Let's just say you have, like, the top three teams that have, like, the top 1, 2, 3, 4 go by record. Let's just say one team won 69, another team won 68, another team won 60, another team won. Okay, those are, the first four seeds. Now, what you could do is, let's just say you have a couple of teams that had the same identical record. Okay, then what you would do, you would go by how many points each team scored that year. So yes, scoring would play a big factor. So basically, you would make the NBA all about scoring, because that's what they want. They want to see points. You go by who scored the most points. Every point should matter. So then that would be the easiest way. That would be the easiest way to solve all this shit. And then, like I said, or you also could do, okay, you could do something like, okay, you could possibly do the top two teams, like you just had the best 16 teams. Okay, you take, the one seed, and then you have the number two seed. Okay, what you could do is you could have the number one play the number 16 seed. Then you could have two play 15. You could have, and so on and so on and so on. Y'all know how this works. It's pretty fucking simple, man, and it's not hard to do. What I want is the best 16 teams competing for a championship. You know, I'll do a whole video on how you could like do seeding and all that kind of stuff. But I'm just giving y'all some ideas on how the NBA could change the playoff system because it's just outdated. It's outdated, man. This ain't the motherfucking Source Awards and all that old type of shit, man. Nobody gives a fuck about that East Coast, West Coast shit. So, you know, you don't want to have a team, and this could possibly happen. A team that win like 39 games, they get to go to the NBA playoffs, and then all of a sudden they get hot in the playoffs, and then they go to the NBA finals and all that type of shit. But then they didn't do shit in the regular season. Then you have certain teams that tank games so they can get seeded, so they don't have to play a certain team in that first round. See, that's how you debunk all that shit. It's like, okay, you got to play this team no matter what. So basically, you got to make it all about winning. You got to make it be about winning the most games, where every game is competitive. Therefore, you get rid of that. Oh well, they took games off, and I mean, you could kill a lot of birds with one stone. You could stop the resting players, because I don't believe in that shit. If a guy's healthy enough to play, he should play. Now, if you're trying to save a dude for the playoff, okay, that's fine. But you got to make it mandatory that the dude has to dress. If he's healthy and he can play. Now, if you want to limit his minutes, if you want to play him 1 quarter or 12 minutes, then that's fine. But the league need to regulate on that shit. Because I don't think it's fair a guy come to your town to play one of your favorite players and he don't play just because he getting the day off, or he getting the game off and he getting the rest. That's total bullshit. You got fans paying $200, $300, $400, sometimes even in the thousands for tickets, and then you not watching LeBron James play because you trying to rest him. Now, like I said, if you want to play him and say, okay, you have to mandate it to where unless a player is hurt, he can't play. But if he can play, he has to play. He has to play, I say, a minimum of either, 10 minutes or 1 full quarter. After the first quarter, you can sit him down. Or you could just play him for at least a minimum, play him 10 minutes. 5 minutes this quarter, 2 minutes this quarter, 2 minutes that quarter. You know what I'm saying? A couple, maybe a minute the next quarter. Because like I say, the NBA need to cut, they need to cut out a lot of shit. Because I hate that shit when they say, oh, LeBron James is not playing today because he's resting. And, Greg Popovich was notorious for that shit. Oh, they're not going to play today. They're resting. Nah, fuck that, man. If you healthy, your ass got to play. And it's that simple. But anyway, man, that's my thoughts on this shit, man. Let me know what y'all think, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm out.